Hey, what's up, my construction entrepreneurs? Top of the morning, Tyrone here. Hey, today is Wednesday. I think today is Wednesday. Should be. Today is Wednesday. Anyway, if today is Wednesday, remember, payroll is due today. That means that all timesheets that employees have not turned in, you need to be putting pressure on them to turn in their timesheets, so you can get all that time inputted in, so you can have no issues with issuing checks for Friday. Today should be the deadline. So, and there should not be Monday through Friday timesheets submitted today. They should only be one or two timesheets, maybe from Thursday and Friday, maybe Friday, Saturday, should be submitted today. If a person is turning in Monday through Friday timesheets today on you, yeah, you need to figure out how to get that person into a better place where they're more efficient. Anyway, so this video is not about payroll and timesheets, right? It is about I got a question from someone that called me, and the question was, in addition to business questions on starting a construction company, what are some of the things that I advise and recommend and things like that. But one of the last questions before the phone conversation ended was, how much do I share with my wife regarding the business? So to answer that question on this video, because not just men are doing construction companies now, is women too. So that's rephrase that question to, how much do I share with my spouse? This one here, huh? So when I answer this question, I'm going to answer it from my experience. Okay? I'm going to answer it from my experience, not anyone else's experience. It's mine. So, first thing I would say is, you got to really understand where your spouse is at, in or with your entrepreneur journey, right? If your spouse is engaged in your entrepreneur journey, I'm not saying that he or she is just trying to say, hey, how was your day? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. You got that job. Oh, congratulations on that job. Oh, what about that one? How's that job going? Oh, it's going pretty good. Oh, that's good. How much you gonna make over there? Oh, that's not much. You always did better on the last one. So that's just, for me, that's my wife participation into my businesses, right? Into what I have going on. And then, there's a little input here and there. So you have to gauge where your spouse is at. Is he or she an entrepreneur? Right? What if that's a entrepreneur on a weekend entrepreneur, right? After work entrepreneur, and still have a 9 to 5. Is your spouse an entrepreneur? Or is your spouse engaged in your entrepreneur journey? Right? Engaged meaning doing invoices, right? Creating spreadsheets, running payroll, running jobs, supervising jobs, landing more jobs. Like, are they engaged in this, right? And you got to determine that level of engagement. Like, my wife is not involved in it at all. Like, she would not pick up the pieces of this if I was to leave, right? If I was to be gone tomorrow, she would not pick up the pieces. I'm hoping she can at least search search and get involved enough to make sure, she collect her due diligence wherever it's at, right? But once again, that's why I have partners. My partners will make sure that the business continues, and revenue is still being given to my family from what I have built and put in place. But anyway, so mine, I don't share much of this journey with my spouse. Why? Because most things that go on in this journey are bad. Okay, stressful to certain individuals. So you got to realize where your spouse is at. You can't be sharing the things that are going on day to day with your spouse if your spouse is not built for this, right? You don't want to add, because what happens is that when you add that pressure to that person, and that pressure comes out back at you, especially, like, let me give you an example with my ex-wife, right? My ex-wife was not built to be an entrepreneur. She has a 9-to-5. She works for an insurance company. She's a workers' comp adjuster, right? I don't think is it workers. I think it's workers' comp. I think she's a workers' comp adjuster, or insurance adjuster for workers' comp, or that type of insurance. And her mom worked a 9-to-5. Her dad worked a 9-to-5. So everyone she grew up around worked a 9-to-5. So that entrepreneur spirit really is unstable for her. It's not what I want to say. It's too much uncertainty for her. So I had to learn. I was sharing things with her, and I had to learn, like, oh wow, this is not working, because a situation to happen to where it'll go terribly wrong on the job, and then another situation to happen to where I catch it early, and she'll already be on, like, oh, this is the last time this happened. This is what happened, and it's going to happen again. So what are you going to do? Where are you at with it? Are you looking into it? Have you done this? Have you done, and it puts undue or unnecessary pressure on me while I'm trying to take care of things and make sure things are done. And especially, it's hard when you're young in your entrepreneur journey and you're sharing this stuff and receiving this pressure from your spouse. You got to be careful in that. So you really have to sit down and gauge, where your spouse is at. Me, now I look at, the upbringing of you should be looking at the upbringing of your spouse, and then where your spouse is at now, right? And then determine that and see how the reaction is with what you share. But me, like, decisions, financial decisions, I don't consult. We already have agreement that I'm gonna make the best one for our family to put us in the best place. Now I do sometimes, depend on what it is, I'll bring it up, and kind of like get a feel for it, because sometimes she brings me back in the center. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm like boom, 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 shoo, and then she'll kind of like, let's and then and kind of line me back up, because I get off, right? So if you have someone like that can kind of bring you down and get you back center, like, oh no, remember, this is what you have. You got this, and this, and this. How you gonna do that, or do this, or go here, or spend this? So if you have someone like that, then you'll know how much you need to share with that person. But initially, I wouldn't say don't share anything with your spouse, because they are ultimately on that journey with you. You just got to realize the level of involvement of your spouse, and then go from there. You really have to be, that's one of the characteristics of being an owner anyway, right? There's certain abilities and skill sets that you need to have with reading people, with understanding personalities as an owner, as a successful owner, right? You gotta understand how to read personalities and how to adjust and adapt to different personalities to get your point across, to get on the winning side, to land a job, to get paid, whatever those things are. You have to know how to maneuver through different type of characters, different type of people that you meet. So that's the same thing with your spouse. Understanding where your spouse is at, and then sharing enough information that you need to share. But also too, you got to realize this, that you cannot bleed on the sheep, right? Like, if your spouse can't handle that your spouse can't be the one that you pour out to, right? Because we go through a lot in this journey, and there's some, we need to talk to somebody, and that's why I do videos talking about the bad, talking about, what we go through, not being able to get up and do the things that we need to do, not doing invoicing, even though we have already got done with the job, they're ready to pay us, and we just don't feel like doing the invoice. I've had times like that. Just don't want to do the invoice, and they're ready to pay me. Mr. Jones, I got your money for you. And I just, and of course, like, I want to get paid, but sometimes I'm going through something to where it has taken something out of me, and and it may be for an hour, it may be for a day, it may be for 6 hours. I don't know, but sometimes we go through things, and we got to be careful not to unleash or dump on the people that cannot handle it, and that's why it's very important that you talk to other entrepreneurs, right? So you can get out what you need to get out, because they can handle what you need to get out, because they're going through the same thing, and you can relate to it. And of course, we don't want to indulge in just all negativity, but we need to share, and you need to get this stuff out. That way you can laugh about it, right? That way you can, it's not humbuggish, so you got to remember, you can't just come home and dump everything that went bad on your spouse, because that's you can ruin someone's week by the stuff that we go through, right? So you want to be careful with that too. You can't just dump on a person because they're your spouse and they have an ear. You got to be careful with that, especially what we go through and the pressure we deal with. You can't dump on them and then you get the relief, like, whew, got that out, man. Whew, sucks. And then they are, going, that stuff is eating away at their head, and then it comes out in a different way, and then there's issues and problems, and then that pressure eventually ping pong. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, that stress eventually bounces back to you or to someone else. So you got to be careful with that. So gauge where your spouse is at. Like I said, I put a lot of undue pressure on my ex, because I was so I was in the infant stage in this entrepreneur journey. I didn't know any better. I didn't express where I'm going. I didn't talk about my goals. I didn't talk about, where I'm going, where I plan to go, my accomplishments. I didn't talk about, what I need from her, to help me in this journey. I didn't do any of that stuff, so you got to talk about those things with your spouse, so how much to share with that person and how they feel about you taking on this journey, right? You got to hear how they feel about it and care about it, right? I'm not saying stop your journey, but you got to care about it and understand that, okay, this is what I can share, or this is where I need to be at to get this person to a better place, to be supportive in my journey. Not every spouse is just going to be supportive in your journey because you decide to be an entrepreneur, because now you're doing this, or now because you have this and this going on. You can't expect everyone just to be because they're your spouse just to be on board. Everyone has their own level of risk that they want to take. Everyone has their own some spouses, are supportive with you because they stand on board wherever they at to carry that health insurance for your tail, right? Because you don't even have health insurance. By the way, small business goals for 2020: healthcare. I'm planning on bringing on healthcare insurance hopefully by the end of this year, if not before then. So, gotta get this. I need to get this thing going and get this in place. I've been so hesitant on doing it because you read things like, oh, you need 50 or more. It makes sense if you have 50 or more employees and this and that, but things are so much different now. There's so many different options now. So I got somebody looking into it, and hopefully, my plan is by the end of the year, but it may even happen by next month, second quarter. I don't know. We'll see. Next month, it'll be even better. Second quarter, be even better. I don't know. Anyway, so just knowing how to share with information that you can share. And then also too, you can't just be, I say, you can't just dump on your spouse, right? Just dump stressful stuff on your spouse. You need to figure out who you need to share that stuff with and get that stuff out. And you need to figure it out, because that's one thing as construction entrepreneurs, we don't do enough. We don't talk about this what we go through enough, and we hold too much inside, right? So that means that we need to be honest and get that stuff out to the right people. And also too, you can't just be only sharing the good, like oh, I'm only gonna share the good with my spouse. Oh, I got this job. Oh, I got paid this much. Oh, I just hired this person. Oh, it's not all good. You know what I'm saying? So, be selective, but don't be one-sided in the whole deal and kind of give the impression that everything is just peaches and cream when it's not. So, what do you share with your spouse? You have to determine that. I did a video on recently, a couple of weeks ago, on the mistakes I made with my ex, and not really understanding what her background and how she feels about security, right? Security and career security, right? Financial security, right? Me, construction entrepreneurs, I wouldn't say we can be broke, but broke is temporary for us. Like it's temporary. Like we can go through this. Like, yeah, okay, they took everything, that's fine. All right, let's build this thing back up. I mean, I fell off months ago, guys. Several months ago, and I've been building this thing back up, and and it's looking good. And I'm continuing to move forward, and I'm happy for it. So yeah, so being in that place for us is just temporary, but for someone else, it may be just the stressfulest thing, right? You not bringing in income, maybe affecting your spouse in a certain way. Maybe letting your spouse know when you have income coming in and when you won't have income coming in, right? Instead of because some spouses feel just because you leave every day, you're making money every day. So some of us not making money even though we leaving every day, so maybe you need to explain that to your spouse. When you leave every day, you're not making money, but your goal is to make money, and it may cost you a little bit, but talk about what you're working hard at. This is what I'm working hard at. But at the same time, I'm talking about what you're working hard at, and you screwing around 90% of the time. Going to clubs on weekends and just not reflecting what you're talking about. This is a full-time. If you want to be in this is a full-time job. This is not. If you're going to be all in, 2 feet in, it's full time, and you need to constantly learn. You should be, reading up on your trade every day, 15 minutes a day, articles, book, listening to videos, maybe my videos, right? I count that as brushing up on your trade, right? I try to give some good information. But anyway, so you have to determine that what you'll share with your spouse. Let me know in the comments. Come on, let's get a little bit more engaged. I don't usually ask this, but I got to start asking you guys to get in and get a little bit more engaged. Let me know what do you feel you can share with your spouse, or what happened. What mistakes you made by sharing certain information with your spouse about this entrepreneur journey, right? Share it. Let us know. Maybe we can learn from some of this. I already shared mine. I did a video on it. But share it. Let me know what you feel about this, and let me know. Maybe you feel you shouldn't share a single thing with your spouse, right? And then also let me know, does your spouse participate in your business decisions, right? Does your spouse participate in your business decision? Do they opinion, how much does that weigh to whether you do this or do that? Let me know. All right, my construction entrepreneurs, that's it. Kind of busy day today. Also today is my weekly meeting. Okay, got a weekly business meeting with all my companies at different times today. So today is the weekly meeting to discuss. So if you do have a business, you do have a partnership, you need to schedule a weekly meeting. I don't care if you guys sitting down and laughing and joking, but you need to sit down and you need to have a weekly meeting and eventually put topics and kind of map things out and talk about issues and talk about new duties, right? Things need to constantly evolve here. So that's what today is for me. Hopefully you can incorporate a weekly meeting into your business. Okay. Hustle hard, then hustle harder. Catch you on the next one.